Welcome to the show, everybody. So sports are fun. We're having a great time. I'm glad that many people were that excited to be at Citizens Bank Park last night for them to attempt to tie the LA Dodgers. Not in the series, a game apiece, but in the game. Tie in the bottom of the ninth inning when your backs are against the wall and you have a short roster. Let's go for the tie, as Rob Thompson said after the game. That's fun. That's a good one. It was, fun to watch that little rally there. The one run in the eighth inning, and the 2 runs there. Nick Castellanos, of all people, goes down. I mean, for the pitches that he flails away at, as we always like to say, this is the one that he actually made a little contact with there, put it in the left field, barely able to get the stretch double there. And then, as we say all year long, this is something that really bothered me about Nick Castellanos all year long. And it's really just bothered me about Nick Castellanos in general through his career. Well, when he's been with the Phillies, I haven't cared when he's been anywhere else. But he is so unbelievably slow. So unbelievably slow. The double from Freddie Freeman that ended up running Jesus Luzardo out of the game in the 7th inning, Nick Castellanos took about 4 days travel. He forged a river. He stopped for a meal, and then he got to the ball and threw to second base, and it was too late. He had second and third, nobody out. See you later, Jesus Luzardo, and they go to the bullpen. For Ryan Kirkering to be like, hey, inherited runners, I love these. Come on home. And then the Phillies got a little offense going. Shohei Ohtani, the hit ends up being the game-winning RBI. How about that? But then the Phillies get a little run there in the 8th inning, Trey Turner. And then Nick Castellanos gets the double there. Again, he's at second base. Slow to third on the actual, bunt attempt or bunt by Bryson Stott. That rolls perfectly up to the third baseline just to help the cause there, while a perfect execution of the wheel play there for all you young players out there. Maybe you're going about it right now with your coach, learning it for the first time last night. Perfect execution. Mookie Betts, for instance, there at shortstop, disguising things well. I do agree with Rob Thompson, what he had to say after the game. The many replays they showed of it, it was like, oh, look at that. Great job by him. And look how slow Nick Castellanos is. Great. I know that Bryson Stott is like a 235 hitter against left-handed pitching. He's swinging away. He's swinging away in that situation. And it's not even because I don't like bunting. Like, people act like it's still the 40s and you can just drop that. A lot of them can just drop that a bunt. Like, no, that's not how it works, unfortunately, anymore. And plus, you got to win this game. And you have a runner in scoring position already, and you can't pinch run for him because you think if you want to pinch run for anybody, it's Harrison Bader if he gets on. But in my opinion, you want that run to score, because there is going to be no extra inning at that score if that run doesn't come home. So do you not have Harrison Bader pinch hit? Do you have Harrison Bader try to make it around the bases? What do you do in that situation? I am not as upset about not pinch running for Nick Castellanos as I am upset about laying down a bunt in that situation there in the 9th inning. That just doesn't make any sense to me. All of a sudden, because you have a runner at third base with 1 out, this lineup's going to hit. And I know Bader came up later and got the single and all that, but that doesn't mean that one leads to the other automatically. But you come away, you swing away. Maybe Bryson Stott's able to pull the ball. Castellanos can still make it to third. Like, there's other situations that can play out that aren't you just giving up an out. I said after game 1 that, that was, if there was ever a must-win game 1, that was the must-win game 1. That was with Christopher Sanchez on the mound, and the Phillies just couldn't hold the lead. Another questionable decision by Rob Thompson to have David Robertson come off the bench after getting the 1 out in the 6th inning, having him come back out for the 7th, having not done an up-down in his 20 games back at the major league level. Thought that was a little curious. It did not work out. I get that you want to make sure that you have a lefty on Shohei Ohtani. And then this game, I don't understand the bunt. I don't understand going to Ryan Kirkering when he's got inherited runners. We talked about this on Postcast last night. Tanner Banks is my guy. That's the only guy I really trust in any situation. And I know you can talk about lefty-righty matchups and all that stuff, but you know what I don't trust? I don't trust Orion Kerkering to not allow runs to score. Now, look, one run, Teoscar Hernandez just barely scoring on that play there in the 7th inning. Okay, you make a better throw, Trey Turner, but that's a difficult throw to make for a shortstop coming in. And he threw to the wrong side of the plate. He throws to the third base side of the plate. They get the out. And then Orion Kerkering can at least see his way out of the inning. That's not the way that went. And then he gave up the 2-run single there to Kike Hernandez, I believe. I told you all year that this is a playoff team. I didn't have a good feeling about what they were going to do when they were in the playoffs, but I had a good feeling that they were going to make the playoffs. They ended up being one of the best teams in baseball record-wise. And here they are, one game away from being swept out of the NLDS. Here they are. NLDS losers, very close to that, again, for the 2nd consecutive year. We're going to let you hear from Rob Thompson a little bit later. I did a little film study yesterday on the Eagles, and you guys know I talk about watching the All-22, and I really don't like evaluating a quarterback's performance when he's holding the ball too long until I see the All-22, because guys could be covered. And in a lot of cases, there were guys covered, and Jalen Hurts just had no choice. And I started out by just looking at the 6 sacks that the Denver Broncos were credited for. And those six sacks really told me a lot more about the game than I thought they were. In all honesty, like the first 2, he scampered out of bounds. Like, okay, you know, what else is he going to do on those plays? Watching the All-22 is like, okay, one of them, and we'll go through the whole thing, but just as an example, one of them, he's got Devontae Smith for a first down that if he throws the ball in an area where only he can get it, like at his feet, he goes down and gets it. He gets the first down. He doesn't scamper out of bounds. He doesn't take the sack. You have some more shots at the end zone. The other scamper out of bounds that we'll get to, he had a man wide open down the field that would have been a touchdown if he just airs that thing out. Everyone wants to focus on Kevin Patullo because he's the new guy. And I don't think he has been like, wow, this guy's brilliant. Like, I really see it now. But if they convert that throw on the 1st and 15 to A.J. Brown, that's a touchdown. You're up 24-3. Late in the 3rd quarter, you're feeling pretty good about your offense. Kevin Patullo comes out with this offense, runs that play with Saquon Barkley out of the backfield to get the touchdown of that, 47 yards. You're feeling a little bit better about this offense. Saquon Barkley's biggest run of the season, the 17-yard run. Nice little shotgun flip toss. Nice little toss to the left. Saquon, he's got space. He's got room. He's got his offensive lineman actually making blocks out downfield. I'm feeling pretty good. When players talk about execution, this is certainly one we can talk about execution. Now, when you talk about formation, yeah, there's plenty of things I see with Kevin Patullo that I just don't like. For instance, a run with Saquon Barkley where he's facing 8 in the box already. They motion Devontae Smith as they do so often, and they're not in man. Devontae Smith's man that was taken farther away from the ball and the line of scrimmage now motions into the box for 8 guys in the box, and then they run it with Saquon, and Saquon gets stopped for a 2-yard. The guy that Devontae Smith wanted to see whether or not he was in man goes in motion. He then comes into the box, and they're like, oh, good, let's run against that. Great idea. No, I don't like that. Don't like that. This is a group effort of inconsistency when it comes to the Eagles. It's not just Kevin Patullo. It's not just the offensive line. Goodness gracious. And it's certainly not Saquon Barkley, and it's certainly not just Saquon Barkley, not just Jalen Hurts. It is everyone. Hey, when's the moment where we could all read a different chapter of the same book? And let's all read it at the same time and try to make sense of that. It's terrible. And then if there was ever a time for A.J. Brown to play the hero, for A.J. Brown to look great and look like he's holding himself accountable. I think it was John Clark saying that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts had a meeting that lasted hours trying to hash everything out. Good. I hope that helps. One of the things I loved about last season and have taken into this season are the tough conversations that we hear so much about with the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, they have tough conversations. They have tough conversations. Well, if there was ever a moment for A.J. Brown to fall on the sword and be like, I messed up, it was after this game against the Broncos where he stopped running his route. I'll let you hear from Nick Sirianni because he addressed the media yesterday on what he saw. John McMullen came out right away with the question. Hey, you said you needed to see the film on what happened with that A.J. Brown route. What happened on that A.J. Brown route? And I was reminded of A.J. Brown's comments after the media ice out 2 years ago, where he stood at his locker for 13 minutes, which is a long-ass media session at your locker. And he said, no, I love Nick. Nick's great. And Nick tried to take the fall for us in Seattle. Remember that Seattle game? The end of the Seattle game? They were improvising. We improvised there, but Nick took the fall. That's what A.J. Brown said. I love Nick. Well, Nick Sirianni just took the fall for him again because that's a touchdown. And what's wild to me is that there's no way A.J. saw the three, I'll call it 2 pump fakes and then the throw by Jalen Hurts because he's not looking back. To A.J. Brown's credit, he's busting his ass to get out there behind the defense. He gets through the defense, makes a great cut on the safety, turns him around, and then he just stops running. And he looks around, and he's like, oh, crap. And there's the ball. And it lands right where he would have been, I think, for a touchdown. If there was ever a time for A.J. Brown to look like a good dude and a hero and first off, a hero, make the catch. A good dude be like, I lost it. That's on me. Not we missed it. That's on you, man. And I'll say this. I don't believe, and I've never subscribed to this, I've never said this. I don't believe that when A.J. Brown's upset, it's just about him. I do believe him when he talks about the greater good of the team and he wants other guys to get involved in the passing game, even if Devontae Smith is going off. Like, I don't believe like other people say it's always about him. I don't believe that. I believe it, can be about him, but it's also about the rest of the team. Then you got to take that one on the chin, man. Because you had that ball right there for the touchdown. You had a 24-3 lead right there, and you stopped running. And the crazy part about it is on that play, you could see him running that route hard. They bump him off the route, but that's for timing. This ended up not being timing because the throw was there. The man should have been there, and the man could have been there because he got behind the defense. And Nick Sirianni covered for him again. No, that's taking off his route. That's how important it is to be taken off your route. Well, regardless, the quarterback had time. 4 seconds, by the way. 4 seconds. He had time to let that route develop. And the route was there. The man was there. The play was there. The man stopped running. I'm very disappointed in a man who's all about accountability won't just take that one on the chin. That was very disappointing. Then the other part of this is the play clock for Jalen Hurts. Elliott Short-Parks, after the game, asked Nick Sirianni about any difference in the plays getting in late. Nick Sirianni's response, no. Okay. Then Jeff McClain, to his credit, was on a crusade in the press conference yesterday with 3 questions, which I think is a record. Like, very rarely do you get a follow-up in general. And then very rarely will you get a wee bit of a back and forth between, the media member and the subject. In this case, Nick Sirianni and Jeff McClain of Inquirer.com. And I give Jeff all the credit in the world. He's trying to say, like, hey, this is a regular problem with getting calls in late. How do you solve this? And I'll let you hear the back and forth of all that. But it ain't good. It ain't good. Because here's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Football's not tennis. This whole time, I'm so glad Nick said that yesterday because this whole time I was like, wow, when I'm watching football, I'm like, you know what this reminds me of? Tennis. This reminds me of tennis. This is exactly the same as tennis. This is just like that game of tennis. Thanks, Nick. I thought this whole time I was watching tennis. Oh, no, this is football. This is amazing. Thank you for breaking that one down. Appreciate it. You might even say, well,
that's pretty dope.
A little late on that. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. First, your Philadelphia Phillies. This is heartbreaking. I mean, it's not shocking, but it is heartbreaking because just because I'm expecting heartbreak doesn't mean that I'm going to enjoy it or it softens the blow at all. You're down 0-2 in the NLDS to the defending World Series champions. They only have a Cy Young candidate going, if not the Cy Young winner, going for you on Wednesday night. At 9:08, by the way. Screw you, West Coast. You had an opportunity late to win this game, and you blew it. Jesus Luzardo was out there, though, absolutely dealing through 6 innings. Blake Snell was dealing through 6 innings. Everything was looking great up until that 7th inning when really the 6th inning, if there's a turning point of this game, it was the 6th inning where the Phillies get first and second with 1 out. Otto Kemp came up there and struck out to start the inning. Turner walked. Schwarber worked a walk. What? Yeah. Now you got runners on first and second. You got 1 out. Little mound visit. Bryce Harper's coming up. Alec Boehm's coming up. And brace yourself for disappointment. Bryce Harper strikes out at the 2-2 slider. He also flailed away against Blake Snell on a 1-1 slider, I believe it was. So he's lost at the plate. He goes down swinging. Alec Boehm steps up to the plate. He goes down, much like Castellanos' double later in the game. Alec Boehm goes down and right off the first grain of dirt, probably right in front of home plate. Alec Boehm gets down and hits that chopper to third base, and then like something out of a movie. Miggy Rojas at third base dives headfirst for third to try to beat a charging Trey Turner from second. Both diving headfirst at the third base bag. Miggy Rojas just barely gets the third base before Trey Turner. The force out ends the inning. Baseball's a funny game. So the Phillies don't capitalize on that situation. 6th inning, first and second, 1 out, nothing. 7th inning is when all hell broke loose for Jesus Luzardo. The leadoff single by Teoscar Hernandez. Luzardo's at 74 pitches. We're used to seeing Jesus Luzardo go like 105 pitches. So I'm thinking he gets to the 7th inning. You just go to Joe Anderon in the 9th, and you wait for a little bit of offense. Cross your fingers a little bit. Cross your fingers. Pray for a little bit of offense. Sacrifice, I don't know, a goat, I don't know. Chicken, get the bucket of KFC for Major League in there. Has to be a live chicken. And you get a little bit of offense, you're thinking, all right, Jesus Luzardo's got this. Unfortunately, he doesn't. Teoscar Hernandez, he leads off with a single. Freddie Freeman gets the double because Nick Castellanos is extremely slow. Second and third, nobody out. Luzardo out, Kerkering in. He strikes out Edman. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, 1 out. Then Kike Hernandez hits the fielder's choice on the it was Hernandez that came up with the fielder's choice, not the double. The double was Will Smith. But Kike Hernandez gets up there, grounds to short. Turner throws home. Wrong side of home plate. It's tough throw to make. I get it. But Hernandez scores 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Then later in the inning, Muncy walks. Bases loaded, 1 out. Good times, Orion Kerkering. Will Smith comes up with the 2-run single to center field. Hernandez and Kike Hernandez and Freddie Freeman score. Kerkering out. Strom comes in. Ohtani gets the RBI single to center field. Then they get Betts to fly out to center. It's a 4-0 ball game. A 4-run top of the 7th inning. And in the bottom of the 7th inning, Sheen comes in. 1-2-3 inning. 9 pitches. See you later. Realmuto, Castellanos, and Stott. Just like that. I literally just got a text message from my buddy. Hold on. He's a big baseball guy. So why the heck are they bunting there? Right? Anyway. So the Phillies get nothing going there. They get a triple from Max Kepler in the 8th inning, brought home later by Trey Turner. Then Schwarber strikes out again. Kyle Schwarber, that made him 0 for 7 in the series thus far with 5 strikeouts. Cool. But now it's a 4-1 game. Phillies go into the 9th inning. Boehm gets a single. JT Realmuto gets the double. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. This feels pretty good. Nick Castellanos down to 2 strikes in this at bat. He just is able to poke one, a sweeper well down in the zone, into left field, gets the stretch double, just barely. He didn't beat the throw, but he beat the tag. 2-run score. This is when all hell breaks loose. Triton then goes out, relief pitcher there for the Dodgers. Vesia comes in, stops at the plate, showing bunt. I go, no, No. Face the lefty. 235 hitter against left-handed pitching this year. They haven't laid down the bunt. Or I see him show bunt. I go, no, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. In the grand book of baseball, it says if you have a runner on second base, you bunt him over to third base. With less than 2 out, you bunt him over to third base. This is not a time for the grand book of baseball. This is you trying to win a baseball game. This is your offense actually looking like they got some momentum, regardless who's come in to pitch on the mound. You also have a short availability for who can run for Castellanos. You have short availability who could pinch hit for Bryson Stott. You also have short availability who can, if you're going to use Harrison Bader as a pinch hitter, who can run for him because he's playing with a groin injury that has knocked him down about 20%. So he's only about 80% playing right now. And you want to be able to have him for the next game. So you're in a pretty crappy situation here. I'm not giving up any outs. Yet, Bryson Stott lays down a bunt, trickles up the third base line. They run a perfect wheel play, throw to third, runners out. Castellanos is out by a good mile there at third. Now you have Bryson Stott on first base. Harrison Bader then steps up as a pinch hitter. He gets the single. You have first and second with 1 out. Max Kepler steps up there. He grounds into the 3-6 fielder's choice. You have first and third with 2 outs now. Can some more magic happen? They take Vesey out. They bring in Sasaki. Trey Turner's up there, and Trey Turner hits a sharp one-hopper to second base, throw to first, bounces, a little bit of the yips there, and Freddie Freeman corrals it, falling down. I'm waiting to see that white pill pop up into the air for the game-tying run to score and Trey Turner safe at first, or I'm waiting to see the call of Freddie Freeman being off the bag because he fell down. None of that happens. Hopes, dreams come crashing back down to planet Earth, and the Phillies are now in an 0-2 hole. After the game, Rob Thompson talked about why he would bunt with Bryson Stott in the ninth.
Just left on left. We're trying to tie the score. I liked where our bullpen was at based on as compared to theirs. So we played for the tie at home.
It seemed like the Dodgers were expecting. Was there any thought of taking it off after?
Well, Mookie did a great job of disguising the wheel play. And we teach our guys that if you see wheel, just go ahead, pull it back and slash because you got all kinds of room in the middle. But Mookie broke so late that it was tough for Stotty to pick it up.
A way to not have, to make sure that Bryson Stott pulls back is that to not bunt at all. That would be one idea. Rob Thompson's in his final. I believe what tomorrow will be his last game as the Phillies manager. He doesn't survive this. That's a wrap. Whether they elevate somebody, Dusty Wathan, just saying. They all love Kevin Long, the hitting coach, which I know a lot of people don't give a damn about when you're, Turner and Harper and Schwarber have combined for 2 hits in 2 games. That ain't going to cut it. But I believe Rob Thompson is in his final. He's going to go in to manage his final game. Nola versus Yamamoto on Wednesday night. I don't think so. I like some people last night were telling me Rob Thompson shouldn't even get on the plane and go to Los Angeles. Just fire him now. It's like, that ain't happening. I don't get it. And in the Phillies locker room, in the clubhouse after the game, everyone's saying the right things. We got to be better. Backs against the wall. We're not going to go home until they tell us we have to go home. Okay, whatever. Good luck to you. I'd love to see you play a game 5 in South Philly, but 89% of the time, best of 5 series, down 0-2, you going. That's a wrap. That's the way that one goes. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, so football. Ugh. AJ Brown just messed up. And I wish he would just say, I held up. I lost track of the play. I thought the ball was out already. I don't know. I just really wish he would have fallen on the sword and said, I messed up. And he didn't. That's extremely disappointing. So yesterday, Nick Sirianni was asked about AJ's route and what happened on that play in the third quarter with about 3:38 left. The bomb down the field. Here is Nick Sirianni on that play.
Again, I look back at that and definitely see the reroute, affected us. That's for sure. And so, that's what defenses do. I mean, sometimes you're expecting a certain look. They give you a different look, or they reroute within the middle of it. That definitely affected it. I'm not here to assign blame we're just looking for solutions. That's what we're doing. That's what today was about. That's what the rest of the week will be about, to find solutions. But I definitely think that the reroute affected the play. So hats off to them.
I'll say this. He's not lying. AJ getting pushed around a little bit definitely affected the play. I believe that's why Jalen had the big pump, little pump, and then let it fly. But in terms of what made the play unsuccessful was A.J. Brown gliding. He went from running hard to get to the spot where he was at, turned around. He stopped, by the way, when he turned around, and then tried to pick up again. And you see that ball drop right into, like, if you just imagine it. I saw somebody say, can somebody use AI and actually have it go all the way through and see if that would have been it would have been a completion. It would have been a completion. It would have been a touchdown. The other part of it was, what if A.J. Brown would have dropped it? Googly moogly. That would have been a spicy meatball. But instead, he just quit. The other thing is, I've seen a lot of people be like, I can't believe Jalen Hurts overthrow the ball. And then I see like 470 comments, and they're all like, stop running, bro. He stopped running, bro. He stopped running, bro. One guy, I forget who it was, but he was funny. He goes, upon further review, it appears A.J. Brown, or I now see A.J. Brown stopped running his route. It making no sense. It making no sense. Making no sense. I would love for actual accountability. That'd be fun. But as you'll tell from this next one here, and if you're just joining us here, I said that after the media iced out of A.J. Brown 2 years ago, after that Seattle game, remember, we were or Nick took it on the chin for us there. We were improvising. Jalen and I were improvising on that play. I'm like, look at you guys talking. Remember those days? But he said, Nick, that was our fault. Nick tried to take the blame for that. Well, Nick's trying to take the blame for it now. Well, if he's not trying to take the blame for it exactly, he's at least saying, it's nobody's fault. This isn't tennis. This isn't tennis. Thanks, Nick. It's everybody's first day. Appreciate you saying that. Here he is, though, when he was asked about late calls getting in. Now, before I even get there, here's ESP Sunday after the game asking Nick Sirianni about plays getting into Jalen Hurts.
Do you notice a difference this year in how long it's taking the play call to get to Jalen versus other years? I know Tulo's a new coordinator. Do you notice a difference there?
No. There's.
Okay. He just goes on to say it's everybody's fault. So Jeff McClain follows up.
Hey, Nick, last night you said that the play calls aren't coming in late. So I'm wondering what can be done to help Jalen Hurts get to the line quick and get the plays off faster so that you're not so deep into the play clock.
I believe I said, Jeff, that there's never just one thing, right? There's play calls could be coming in late. There could be communication errors with. I kind of went through all the different things.
Okay. Your first response was no to the direct answer. I took it as
all the different things that go into getting up to the line of scrimmage. So, and I believe I also said, hey, it's never just one thing. Throughout the course of the game, we have to practice it better. We have to coach it better, and it always comes down to how you go through it in practice. So. Never just one thing. We have to get better at it, though, as coaches and as players.
Okay, we can all agree on that. And then Jeff McClain followed. Now, I also want to point out that the actual question was noticing a difference in calls coming in late. Noticing a difference in calls coming in late. And this is where Jeff gets them.
If I may follow up, this has been you guys have consistently been late in the play clocks since Jalen Hurts has been the quarterback. So this has been a kind of like a running theme for the last several years now. So he's the one common denominator. So what if he's part of the process for a while now, what can be done to help him get the plays off quicker?
Sure. Again, like I said, it takes a lot. It's a lot of different things. Like in this game, this isn't tennis where you can assign the blame to one person. This is football, and there's multiple different things that go into each and every one of these things.
It's not tennis, folks. I can go all day. Ugh. Yeah. Yep. So he's not lying. It's not coming in any different than what this is a constant problem. He didn't lie. Have you noticed a difference? No, it's late, just like it's usually late. Like that's basically what should have been said when you match up both answers from 2 nights ago after the game to yesterday. I think Jalen Hurts needs that time in front of the line of scrimmage. And last year, it didn't really jump out to a lot of people because they were winning by big margins, and Jalen was playing great, and Saquon was playing great. This year, everything that's not by the book and what they've the bar that they have set in years past, everything that's not reaching that bar is under heavy scrutiny. And by the way, as it should be, which now brings me to we played this game last year, Sack Court. So I went back and I watched the All 22. Oh man, it's depressing. And I went back and I just started with watching the sacks. And then I held off specifically on watching the A.J. Brown play, which I've already broken down a million times already. But the sacks really told the story of the game. Because there's a situation there in the red zone. Now, there was 6 sacks on Jalen Hurts. I will say this. 6 sacks were credited to the Broncos. Okay. First one was the scramble right, first quarter, 2nd and 7. They're approaching the goal. Hurts scrambles to his right. He runs out of bounds. Now, the first looking at it, I'm thinking, I thought he got a yard on that one. So at least give him a yard. Okay, whatever. But he ran out a little bit behind the sticks. So that was that. Watching the high end zone cam from behind Jalen Hurts, he had Devontae Smith pass the sticks for a first down. And he puts that ball just to the ground. Like I'm not expecting the defensive back is on Devontae Smith's back. Yeah, there's a chance he jumps around him and breaks it up. There's a chance he gets called for pass interference. But there was a better play to be made, and that's what I'm really arguing here. There's a better play to be made than what Jalen Hurts did. He didn't make the right play on that one. For whatever reason, didn't make the right play on that one. So I look at Jalen Hurts, and he gets dinged in sack court for this one. Second sack came in the second quarter, 2nd and 10. Jalen Hurts looks like he's looking for Dallas Goedert. So Jalen Hurts rocks back, looks out to his right. Dallas Goedert is going out into the flat, and it looks like his throwing lane gets taken away. Lane Johnson is coming in there with I can't remember who it was for the Broncos, but the throwing lane's gone. So Jalen Hurts, rightfully so, tries to get it to his guy again, rolls outside the pocket. Dallas Goedert at this point has a guy on him, he thinks. He doesn't want to throw. There's a guy coming in from behind, doesn't want to throw it, risk the interception. So he continues to roll out to his right. Now, as this is happening, Kylan Grayson, the tight end, the tight end that just came here this offseason, is now open down the sideline in Jalen Hurts' line of sight. And for whatever reason, Jalen doesn't see this, doesn't look for it, doesn't keep his eyes downfield, I don't think, and runs out of bounds. He had room to – Jalen Hurts, breaking news, great athlete. He can make that throw. He has made that throw. He doesn't make this throw. That is – he puts it on Grayson. That's a touchdown. On a 2nd and 10, originally he had the read to Dallas Goedert, tried to roll out of the pocket, get it to him. He didn't feel the throw was there in short field. So he continues to scramble to his right, roll to his right, roll to his right, roll to his right. Grayson's open down the field. Nobody over the top. He airs it out to him, lets him run under it. You're talking about 6, or you're talking about like a 40-yard gain. And instead, Jalen Hurts runs out of bounds 2 yards behind the marker. That's on Jalen Hurts. You could originally say that Lane Johnson got in his way, but, I mean, you had another play to make. So 2 for 2, Jalen had a better play to make. He didn't make the play. Third sack, second quarter, 3rd and 13. Okay. I'm not going to say this is what the game was on, but Hurts has time. AJ's open middle of the field. He has a play, but he waits. He had a play there. He saw the defensive back behind AJ Brown by about 7 yards. At that moment, you get rid of the football. AJ makes that catch. Now, again, it's 3rd and 13. This isn't going to be a first down, unfortunately, but there's a better play to be made. He didn't make it. He waits. The defensive back was looming over the top at that point. He decides to scramble to his left. That's when he gets sacked. That one's on Jalen. Another sack came on another 3rd and long. This one in the fourth quarter. This one, the fourth sack of the game in the third quarter, the 3rd and 15. So this is later on the same play or the same possession that A.J. Brown didn't continue running his route. To be more specific, the route that he really quit on. Hurts gets sacked. This one was by Benito. He had Grayson again, but I don't think he's eyeing Grayson to make a play, but it was too late to him. Really, no one else had a chance to make a play on it. The only other option that would be Will Shipley was leaking out of the backfield. That at least would have been a plus play. But again, it's 3rd and 15. He takes the sack. He had 2 outs in this situation. One was to Grayson, one was to Shipley. Was there a better play to be made? There's a better play to be made. Now, here's what's specific about the 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15, and 3rd and 13. Those 3 sacks. What have I been saying about Jalen Hurts for really ever since he stopped turning the football over at an alarming rate? Ever since after the bye week when they beat the Browns. He just doesn't want to turn the football over. He doesn't want to make a bad situation a worse situation. In these situations, you're 3rd and 13. You're thinking, I'm going to eat this. Is there a better play to be made? Yes, there's a better play to be made. Maybe Will Shipley makes the guy miss. He had a lot of room to run. I'll tell you this. He would have gotten at least maybe 10 yards on this. Makes the guy miss. Maybe he gets the 15 yards and you get the first down. Now, this 3rd and 13 came up in the fourth quarter. It was the 5th sack of the game. Denver only put 7 on. They put 7 on the line and only rushed 4. So far, by the way, all 4 sacks I'm putting on Jalen Hurts. Denver then has 7 on the line of scrimmage. They show 7. They only rush 4, including a cornerback blitz. I think it was McMillan. Is that his name? Jaquan McMillan, defensive back there for the Broncos. He ends up being one of the rushers on a cornerback blitz. He comes in late. Jalen was off his mark immediately at the top of his drop back. So I'm putting this on the offensive line, not being able to pick it up. Lane gets pushed back into Jalen. Maybe Jalen can get rid of the football, sailed over somebody's head so he doesn't get intentional grounding. But if he tries to do that, the offensive line failed miserably in this situation. So if he tries to reel back and throw, that might be a fumble, and forget about it. At this point, like I said, it was the fourth quarter. It was the 3rd and 13. McMillan is actually the one that actually gets Hurts in this situation. Then the 6th and final sack of the game came in the fourth quarter, 1st and 10 of their final possession before the Hail Mary. Pocket collapses immediately. No chance for Hurts to make a play on this one. So the last 2 sacks of this game I put on the offensive line. Really, the first 2, again, are just Jalen Hurts making bad decisions. The last 2 were the offensive line just collapsing. And I think they're only rushing 4 on that last blitz or the last sack of the game, which the offensive line couldn't control. And at that point, you obviously have Brett Toth in there. So that's rough. Now, of those sacks, 4 of them are on Jalen because there are definitely better plays to be made. But also, you got to consider the situation. 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 13. He just ate it. And that was that. I mentioned the Brown play. The other thing that I really noticed from watching the film on this, and I actually noticed this went viral. On the Hail Mary play, Jalen Hurts from the 29-yard line, he pulled a Mr. Perfect where he tried to catch his own pass. So Jalen throws it in the end zone and then makes a dead sprint for the end zone, thinking the ball's going to be tipped about, let's just say, maybe 47 times. And he could get under there and make a play. Hey, you know what? You never know. You never know. I think he was at like the 5-yard line when the play was finally dead. So yeah, maybe a big tip. He comes in and makes a play. How incredible would that have been? But anyway, unlike A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts didn't quit on the play. And also, unlike A.J. Brown, he didn't tackle his own player on that Hail Mary. Not that he really had a chance to, but you get what I'm saying. So that's really what I noticed. The other thing that I noticed was the stretch play. I got to tell you guys this. Watching games with Seth Joyner is ultimately, when I look back on my career, I'm going to say this was pinnacle. Because that is an experience. Because how it goes is he'll have like we'll be eating or something. He'll have the napkin in his, he doesn't want to get his nice, he dresses very sharp. Doesn't want to get it all over him. So he wears the napkin. And this is the peak Seth Joyner. He'll see a play like that in the stretch play where Cam Jurgens just got owned. And he just like takes the napkin, throws it on the table, and then he stands up and then he starts doing pass sets. It's like, this is what you got to do. There's no way that you should allow that to happen, that kind of thing. And Cam Jurgens just got absolutely owned. Absolutely owned. And there are multiple plays there where guys just they're not picking up the blitz. They're not recognizing the blitz. For whatever dumb reason, continuously out of 12 personnel, they're running the football right up the middle. I love that little flip play, that little toss play to Saquon. They got 17 yards on. And you know what was good about that? I hadn't seen that before this year. And the offensive line got off the line and made blocks upfield. Dallas Goedert made blocks upfield. And you're able to get 17 yards. And in a game that you led 17-3, you barely ran the football. Well, guess what? When you ran the football, you weren't getting great plays out of it. This one is a tough pill to swallow. Fortunately for the Eagles, they're right back at it on Thursday night. Unfortunately for the Eagles, there were a couple too many names on the injury report yesterday. For instance, Saquon Barkley, Grant Calcaterra, Landon Dickerson, ankle, by the way, did not practice. Jahad Campbell and Byron Young, triceps injury for Byron Young, biceps for Jahad Campbell, Byron Young, triceps. Limited participants, Nakobe Dean, full participant. So maybe, I don't know, maybe if Jahad Campbell can't go, Nakobe Dean slides in there and you don't have to worry about supplanting anybody or benching anybody because Jahad Campbell's injured. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't want Jahad Campbell injured. I want them both healthy. And oh, by the way, lost in this game, now that I'm thinking about linebackers and edge rushers, lost in this game, Azeez Ojulari played really well in his first game. I was like, this is the guy that was inactive? This is the guy that was like, oh, yeah, we can't activate him. Special teams and everything. He played pretty well. Including, I believe, his first tackle was a tackle for loss. Already making an impact. Wait a bit. So that's what you got coming up. As far as the rest of the Eagles' schedule this week, I will tell you, if I can find it in time. There it is. But it'll be Tuesday. Fangio, Patullo, walkthrough in between. Fangio speaks at 12:45. Walkthroughs at 4 o'clock. That's closed to the media. 5:10, Kevin Patullo press conference, followed by Jalen Hurts and locker room availability. So maybe we'll hear from A.J. Brown today. Then Nick Sirianni addresses the media tomorrow, and then they go to New York or North Jersey, take on the Giants. That's the way that one works. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine day. Sean Gillespie, hello. I hate sports. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sean. Sean, let's not forget the magical words of Micah Parsons when you're feeling down about sports.
Take away the scoreboard.
Thank you. What else do I got here? Drop down. There we go. April. Good morning, April. Who the bleep says out loud they're playing for a tie? Your skipper, Rob Thompson. Tate Jeffries. Maybe, you know what else I thought of last night? I thought of the big moment where they clinched the play, clinch the playoffs, and Rob Thompson goes, JT, how many wins? And he's like, as many as it takes, Topper. Wah! Should have been like, how many ties? And then should have been, why would you want to tie, Topper? Everyone hold the champagne for a second. What are you talking about, ties? Let's be that buzzkill. Sean Kilrain, hello. Who says out loud, I don't know why I swung at that? Only 2 teams have ever come back from 0-2. Really? That's only 2? The Dodgers and the Giants. Phillies are in trouble. I thought it was something like 89% in a 5-game series. John Cameron, yeah, sure. Let's bunt and keep the slowest MF on the bases. No one. That's great. Darkwing Ducky, hello. As I watch another season go down the drain, I wonder if anyone else heard of playing to win the game. This is fraudulent, and it's a disgrace to Philly and baseball. I concur. Rob Thompson will manage his last Phillies game on Wednesday. That's the way that goes. If the bunt had worked, run expectancy, runner on second base, computing 1.1 run expectancy, runner on third, 1 out, 0.96 chance of scoring. Computing, not worth it. Runner on second, no. Okay, Sean, thank you very much. You're the man. Danny, hi. Playing to win the game. Don't be ridiculous. Kevin, good morning. Good morning. Sean, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper combined 1 for 14 in the series. Thanks for nothing. Yeah, not ideal. QB. What's going on, QB? Dodgers this postseason, 4 games, 4 wins, 12-run differential. Yeah, we suck. I'm sorry, but we have to get out of Bryce's contract. Like, he seems like he just don't care. Plus, if I believe he cares. I absolutely believe he cares. Sean Kilrain, Farzy, really starting to wonder whether Ranger Suarez is injured more than they let on. I absolutely believe that. He was supposed to be your number 2 starter. Then he was number 3. But he's been available in the bullpen. And now Nola's going in game 3. That thing. Jason A., what's going on? Ken Sato, I told you the Phillies playoff team would choke. That's true. No short ball. Yep, they suck. Jason A., Phillies are depressing. Yes, they are. Sean Kilrain, 1-7. It's terrible. But I don't know. What? We laugh? Do we actually believe that Nick is holding these guys accountable behind the doors if he takes the fall for them? Look, I believe he has really good communication. But like, he's not getting in guys' faces. But I do believe he's acknowledging mistakes. How about 4-1 Jacksonville? By the way, if you didn't see the last play offensively for the Jaguars, where Trevor Lawrence falls down, I think he got his foot stepped on by his center maybe, and he falls down, and you're thinking, okay, that's it. And then he gets up, scampers in for the game-winning touchdown. That was amazing. Syria has no power over the players, says Jason. Sean Kilrain, all I have to say is dream on with this bull. There you go. April, it makes me mad every time I hear him say it. Could you imagine Larry or Charlie saying they were playing for a tie? No, I can't. I can't imagine it. Pathan 345. I feel like Nick has Jalen so convinced if you don't turn over, we don't lose the game. I feel like he has him scared to rip it. See, the situations I pointed out by like dumping it off to Will Shipley or throwing downfield to Grayson, those aren't they're like there's no interception waiting to happen there. April, AJ was the best defender on the Hail Mary play. Yes, he was. Jason A. Farzy, what do you make of AJ basically slapping the Hail Mary catch out of Smitty's hands? I talked to some players about this over the years on Hail Marys, and I reaffirmed this with Seth on the postgame show. Like, they don't even see who's in front of them. They're just looking up at the ball. And I'd love to hear. And I don't think AJ wasn't asked about it. Smitty wasn't asked about it. Like, what did you see on the Hail Mary? Take like, did you know it was Devontae Smith right in front of you? Like, that kind of thing. I don't think there was any malice involved. Mr. Sandman, what's going on? Time for Toppin to retire, head to Clearwater, Florida, and stay there. Yeah, probably. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. All right, I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning for the Farzy show. I'll be back with you guys later today at 10 o'clock for Locked On 76ers. Sixers got practice today ahead of Friday's Third preseason game, third of 4. So look forward to breaking all that down with you guys then. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You guys are great. Be back with you guys tomorrow. See you.